Okay, so we're gonna build this equation that they give us based on something here that I'm going to use an example. This is not part of the problem. If A and B are directly related, then when A goes up, B goes up. So they'd be something like that. We would say that. But if they were inversely related, then it would be A is equal to 1 over B, so that if A went up, B would have to go down to keep pace with it. So it'd be an inverse relationship. And that's how I'm going to build. That's how I'm going to build this. If I can get that to come back, maybe. That's how I'm going to build this. So we're thinking about reds. So I'm going to say reds vary directly as blues. So blues is right across there. And inversely, so that means I'm going to put greens on the bottom, and it says green squared. And I'm going to put this little k here because k is my constant, and it takes care of anything that I didn't know about. I'm gonna just have that k sitting there to clean up the situation. So that's my relationship, and I'm going to sort of use that as my model. Reds vary directly as blues, and inversely, so green goes on the bottom, and it's not just greens, but green squared. And I put in my k just because I always have a constant. The constant could be 1. Maybe I don't need a constant, but then k is equal to 1, okay? So when there were 5 reds, so now I'm going to use this here. I'm going to say 5 reds, then there were 2 blues, and I got my constant, and 4 greens. And of course, if it's greens, I'm supposed to square it. And this gives me the opportunity, this part, before I go on with the rest of the problem, this gives me the opportunity to solve for my k. So I'm going to say 5 is equal to 2k over 16, because 4 squared is 16. Then I'm going to multiply both sides by 16, so that the 16 will cancel. 16 times 5 is 80, and that equals 2k. And then, of course, I'm going to divide by 2, and it turns out my k is equal to 40. Okay, so that's a good thing to know, what my k is equal to, because now I'm going to say how many reds were there. So I'm using this pattern again. I'm going to say how many reds were there when there were 4 blues and 4 greens, and remember greens get squared, and k is 40. Okay, so now I can put these together and find out what's going on. I think you can probably see that r is 10 because you have 4 times 4 with the leftover 0, but let's go ahead and do that. We'll say r is equal to 4 times 4 is 16 with a 0 on top, and on the bottom 4 times 4 is 16 without a 0. So 160 divided by 16, I think you can see that's 10. So we would say that there were 10 reds. Okay, so that's our answer, 10 reds. And so the idea is set it up so that the direct variation happens on the same level. If you have inverse, then it goes down here. If they tell you to square it or multiply it by 2 or something, always include this k, because you don't know what the k is going to be required to be. That's the first step right there. You set it all up. Then the second step here is where you get to solve for k. And then the third step is where you get to use it to find one of the things you don't know. In this case, we didn't know reds. So that's 3 steps, but they're not bad, and I'm sure that you can handle it.